Okay, so this video is actually kind of in a non-standard format. That's right, I'm doing something creative. This first half was written on the Friday before Ludum Dare, and then I'll write the second half of the script sometime after submissions close on Monday. Now, I'll be honest, I only realized that Ludum Dare was soon approaching, like 2 days ago, so I'm a little bit unprepared. I've been a bit busy with life stuff over the past few weeks, and just when my productivity is starting to improve, I am suddenly hit with a Ludum Dare. But at the moment, I have yet to experience the trials and tribulations that lay before me, and hopefully I won't suffer too much this time round. I mean, hey, this is going to be my 7th Ludum Dare. I have experience, right? There's nothing new that could potentially throw me a curveball, is there? Oh, God, okay, so that didn't go quite as planned. Now, that's not to say that I didn't finish, because I did finish, but the game could have done with a lot more work. For instance, it doesn't have a main menu, and the transition to the windscreen is just a hard cut. Now, despite putting in a combined 19 hours of programming across both days, I still found that I ran out of time, and more importantly, I ran out of energy. Now, the reason for this is that right from the beginning, I wasn't able to come up with an idea quickly enough. I guess I kind of lost momentum early on in the day and started procrastinating, and it was only like 2 PM on Saturday when I actually started properly coming up with ideas. This meant that I had wasted a lot of the most productive point of the day, which for me is the morning to midday, and then I had to drink a ton of caffeine to catch up. Now, I'll get to the consequences of that in a minute. So I finally had my idea. It was going to be a neat arena combat game with automatically generated characters. Though they look identical, I'd give them all unique names and unique stats. The idea is that you beat up enough enemies, gain prestige, and sell your character to purchase a higher level one. Kind of like a whole body upgrade, but you're given a limited number of choices. I was planning on biasing it so that you would only be given the option to purchase a better character overall, but of course this would mean I'd need to come up with a good way to sort these character stats from highest to lowest in such a way that guarantees that the player is always moving up the ladder. Now, as you may have guessed from the fact that it was a pain to even just explain just then, the scope of this was just way too big. I started working on it and getting the basic stuff out of the way. I added movement, enemies, shootings, a few nice visual effects, everything was going well, and since I had a basic game working, I decided, hey, I could wait until tomorrow to finish it off, since I was getting pretty tired that late in the day. Maybe things would have been different if I hadn't wasted so much of the morning, but oh well, it's too late. So, the second day comes around. I wake up and I realize, oh no, what have I done? I've only programmed like 25% of this game. This is awful. So immediately I decided that I'm going to need to redesign a lot of my original plan. At the time, I had a score counter that doubled as a health bar, and although I know that a lot of other people also went with that idea, I mean I could see it on Twitter and on the Ludum Dare blog posts, it was the only option I had at the time. So I decided I'd have to add a little upgrade menu, and I did just that. I basically ended up just tweaking the upgrade menu piece by piece for most of Sunday until I had something which was, I don't want to say strictly unique because it is just a simple upgrade system, but it had enough subtle gimmicks to make it, I don't know, worthy of all the effort that I put in. At about 6 PM on Sunday, I realized I didn't have a main menu. I didn't have a win condition, and I didn't have a lose condition. Now, these are arguably pretty big pieces of a video game, and I already felt like I was completely flattened since I'd been programming since about 10 AM, so that's about, 8 hours of programming? Somehow, I pushed through that, and I added a lose condition. Not too hard, but I didn't even bother adding a retry button. You'd have to restart the game if you wanted to play again, not that you probably would, because it's not finished. The game basically pauses and plays an animation saying you lose, which again isn't great. At around 7 PM, I still had not added a win screen. Okay, so I hadn't actually thought about how to win the game at this point, and it was getting late. It was about, how many hours would that be from, that's about 7 hours from submission, and I hadn't figured out how to win the game. And I had already expended all my energy. That's not good. So, I just made a real quick decision to say that you win when you max out all the upgrades. I did a quick playthrough to see how this would work, and it wasn't too bad, so I just programmed it in real quick. No scene transitions, no retry button, no end of game stats. Just a harsh cut to some rainbow letters telling you that you won, and to have a nice Ludum Dare 44. But hey, that's good enough for me. I have pretty low standards. This isn't my most successful Ludum Dare, but not all of them can be winners, and I'm not too cut up about it. As I mentioned before, this was my 7th Ludum Dare in a row, and I guess this goes to show that having experience does in no way mean you are actually good at what you do. Or you don't have to be good at it all the time, is I guess a nicer way of saying that. So I finally exported and uploaded the game at around 9 PM, added a real quick description, and I decided to make the title of the game Press the Spacebar to Upgrade, because I knew that not everybody would read the poorly formatted instructions, and that specific gimmick isn't explained anywhere in-game. It'd be pretty easy to entirely miss if you weren't paying attention. And that basically sums up my entire Ludum Dare 44 experience. It was way more difficult than usual, but hey, at least I can turn that suffering into a YouTube video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos about Ludum Dare, because I always do a video whenever these little things rolls around. I can't not. What the hell do I make videos about? Of course I'll do Ludum Dare. Goodbye, and good luck for Ludum Dare 45.